Jimmy. Jimmy. James, son!
Welcome back to another episode of the JimJims channel. I am your host, JimJims, and today we have a 2003 Toyota Camry XLE. Ooh, the fancy one. It came to us because it has some mechanical difficulties, and the owner decided, it's been a couple of years, I think I'd like a new car, so they purchased a new 2022 Toyota RAV4. Good on them, they'll love it. And, I don't really need any more Toyotas. We got one here, we got one there, we got one everywhere, but you can never have too many Toyotas. So I said yes. Let's go take a look at it, right? The price, $1,700. The market's high right now, and he knows that. He's not a fool. So I agreed to pay his wonderful price. It's sort of a burgundy, wouldn't you say? Sort of a mahogany, a rich mahogany.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany.
It's a beautiful automobile, that's definitely for sure. The tires, pretty good on it. It has a few bings and or bongs on it because it is elderly owned, or was elderly owned. But other than that, it's not too bad. Let's take a walk around, shall we? Back's not too bad. It's, pretty good for the year. Again, it's a 2003. It's got the cool custom license plates, which I really enjoy. It's got the gold badging. Another cool little feature, and as you can see, it is an XLE. Ooh, very neat. On this side, it's a little more banged up. You can see it's got a bit of a scuff right there, unfortunately. And it also looks like maybe it was Bondoed at one point, because there's a little chip of Bondo that is chipified off, so we're going to have to fix that for sure. Let's take a look at the interior, shall we? Interior is all right. It's got the wood trim and the leather trim package. I use the word wood loosely. This is like a plastic, weird veneer wood. Who cares? It's nice. It's pleasurable. It's almost like a luxury car. It's just, this is one step away from a Lexus. If it had a V6 and it leaked oil everywhere, it would be a Lexus. So there's that leather I was talking about back in there. It's got front seat covers to protect the leather from the sun. It had a dashboard cover. I think he maybe took it off when he gave it to me. I don't know about that. But you can see it's not too bad in here. Let's take a look at the back seats. Back seats are actually really good. Very surprising because in this weather, the leather just crumbles. Let's go around the front. If we can squeeze between all this junk. There you go, not too bad. It's a neat little car, that's for sure. I basically have no room at this point. Look at my legs, ready? I can't even walk both legs between these cars. Again, because of my addiction to Toyotas. Still has current registration and inspection. Let's start it up and see how she sounds. I bet you she sounds perfect. She sells, down by the seashore, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Ooh, 235,721 miles. That is nothing for a Toyota Camry. Absolutely nothing. Watch. I'll show you. See this? Oh, not a noise, not a light on, at least not an important light anyway. Just a door ajar and a seatbelt light, wouldn't you know it? And again, look at that beautiful wood trim. Air conditioning blows ice cold. Bam, 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 bam. Damn, that's a nice horn, I like that. It's almost Rolls-Royce-y. Full tank of gas even, what a nice guy. Now, we don't really need to hear it run for too long. You can hear it, it's just fine. Got the typical Toyota high idle. We can fix that, no problem. Let's look under the hood, shall we? Even the door panels, quite nice. So, we come up under the hood here. Starting to sound Canadian, eh? Come up under the hood here, eh? Oh, look at that, it's got them self-rising hood. That's neat. I did not know Camrys even came with that. Shows what I know, huh? So why'd she come to me? Well, like I said, it has some mechanical difficulties, and that mechanical difficulty is the water pump. She's located right there. I'm very, very glad this is the 4-cylinder Camry because they have the easiest water pump of any of them to get to. Just take the alternator out and the water pump, she's right there. Now the coolant is quite low. It's not empty, it's just low because it's a very, very subtle drip. He said that it only really drips when it's parked, and it does it sporadically, not all the time. So we are going to have to change the water pump out, unfortunately. But like I said, not that hard. I already ordered the actual A's-in water pump. And on these, they don't have a gasket. They have Toyota FIPG, form-in-place gasket. I already went ahead and picked that up at the local Toyota dealership. Once I got there, everyone stared and gawked at my Toyota Previa, which I always love. So it looks like the very next thing we're going to have to do, since I've shown the vehicle off to you, is start the work. We're going to replace the, like I said, water pump, and also I think the thermostat gasket down in here probably, it's kind of hard to see, probably needs a little bit of love, because I think it might be leaking too. You really can't tell where the leak is. It's just in a spot that you can't see. And it's a spot that sort of warms up real hot, so when the car is nice and warm, it just sort of sizzles off, and you really don't notice it much. In fact, if I looked underneath, which I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to see, it hasn't leaked a drop. But I know the water pump is bad because they verified it, so we're going to have to get to that. So let's do it, I guess. There's our first step completed. The alternator is out. The hardest part was getting this pry bar in there to release the tensioner and actually remove tension off of this belt. This belt was not willing to come out. Now you can see the water pump area where it has been leaking down there. So we're definitely going to have to take a look and see what exactly is leaking. Maybe we'll get lucky and we don't have to replace the water pump. Maybe we are unlucky and we do have to replace the water pump. So I'm going to do a little bit more digging and we'll see. Because it almost kind of looks like it's coming and weeping down here and then onto this bracket and down. Because the water pump is over here, so why would there be residue of water pump over here? You know what I mean? It's kind of suspicious. So let's do a little bit more deep of a dive. So I did my research and I've come to the conclusion the water pump is not leaking. The reason I say this, even though the previous owner told me the water pump was leaking and he thought it was leaking, you can see that this crystallization of antifreeze is occurring well above where the water pump is located. So how would the antifreeze go up? It would only go down. That's the mystery. And then if you can see that little wet spot, I'll see if I can zoom you in as close as I can. See that little wet spot right there? It's coming out from underneath the thermostat housing, and when I stick my finger up in here, it's wet. And it's wet on this side as well. Yeah, very wet. So it looks like the thermostat gasket is actually the problem, and it is leaking from this side and scooting its little booty over to there. And then it goes farther down where you can see there's actually a puddle right there, and it's mimicking the water pump leaking. So what a find. What an annoyance. So they thought the water pump was leaking on this car, and it ended up just being the thermostat gasket. Thank goodness for me. I was not looking forward to doing a water pump. I had already started to back the bolts out of the water pump pulley, but I thought to myself, you know what? There's no way that this water pump is leaking. Look how nice and new it looks. So looks like we'll be changing a thermostat gasket instead. That's a score for me. Trust me on that. I was pretty easy on this car to do a water pump, but I just didn't want to do it. Jimmy can afford to be lazy for a day, all right? And my laziness has now paid off. So now that we know the problem, it's time to drain the main vein, as they say. So on a Camry, you pop the radiator cap off. Ooh, look at that. Coolant. Little murky. Little murky. Anyway, we're gonna go down there, like I was saying, and I don't know if you can see this, but see this little petcock right here? Start draining that. Oh boy, that coolant might need a changing. She's a little nasty. Let's go up underneath and take a look at that. Oh, actually, no, it's fine. I was just getting tricked. It's just orange. Let's make sure for sure. Oh, no, she's fine. That's actually very clean. We'll probably reuse that, if anything. Oh, yeah, it smells fine on my fingers, so I'm not going to pull a fucking car wizard and taste it, but if this was the color of your pee, you should be concerned and consult a kidney doctor immediately. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let that drain, and then I can come up here and start to remove that thermostat housing. So I'll catch you in a second. So before I loosen this thermostat gasket, I want you to take a listen. Can you hear that? No, that's not tiny robots living inside the cooling system. That's the sound of a leak. So that's how we know it actually was leaking. Once I started draining that coolant into the bucket down there, you can actually hear the air escaping from around the thermostat gasket. So let's go get my wrench and start taking this off. Put our 10mm on there, and I'm going to do my best Scotty Kilmer impression. Ready? Here we go. I love you, Scotty. With those bolts out, we can now remove the housing, and yes, I do have a gasket underneath there. Don't you worry. Don't you cry no more. And you can see that little bit of goo on there. So whoever did this last time, this is weird. What is this? It's like a rubber band of some kind. That's weird. Supposed to use Toyota Foreman place gasket on these, which I will be doing. So let me go get my tube of that stuff. So as you can see, somebody has used the incorrect adhesive. They've used some kind of RTV sealant, which is incorrect on a Toyota. On a Toyota, you are supposed to use this stuff right here. It is called Seal Packing 103, Toyota Seal Packing 103 FIPG, which stands for Form in Place Gasket. There's the part number, and it says for oil pan / camshaft housing, but it's also for water pumps and thermostat gaskets and just a number of other things. It's sort of a one-size-fits-all for Toyotas, and there's the actual box that it comes in. It's $20 for this little box, so it's good stuff, all right? So we need to go get a razor blade and scrape all that old gunky crap off of there, along with the gunky crap stuck in here, and wait till it stops dripping its little coolant drip, and then we can reinstall it with the proper seal packing. I did end up having to remove the thermostat. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that and spray shit everywhere, but I did, and the reason for that is because they got the RTV kind of on the thermostat, and always remember when you put this back that this little doohickey here, this little relief valve goes on top, not on bottom, on top. Another reason is because I wanted to check this gasket out and see how pliable it still was. And it's pretty pliable still. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm going to clean it up properly and reinstall it. And then we will, after this dries up a little bit, put the FIPG back in its place. It's all back together now, and the box says to wait 30 to 60 minutes before driving. Hardens to become rubber-like in 15 to 16 hours. So I take that as about an hour. You wait an hour, and then you put the coolant back in the system. You can see that it's all back together. So I'm going to go sit down on the couch, watch some TV, and in an hour I will come back and start refilling the system. Well, I waited an hour and now the car is running. Waiting for it to warm up properly. I think I can probably still touch this. Yeah, it's a little hot. Everything's back together properly. I do not see any leaks. Nope, no leaks. So I think we're doing good. I have the driver's side window rolled down because you don't want to put the keys in the car on these babies. These have a habit of locking themselves. You can see the heat is on full blast. It's actually already starting to come out warm a little bit. Temperature has not begun to rise, so we're gonna have to wait a while. I'd say probably about 35 minutes. I like to really let the car warm up to make sure there's absolutely no leaks. And then I do a cool down and a second warm up, and then I drive the vehicle around to make absolutely certain there are no leaks. I guess I will come back to you guys in about 35 minutes. So we're gonna go for a little drive after the repair just to verify that there are no new leaks, because we won't want that. We just fixed the damn car. She's driving absolutely perfect so far. Temperature is rock steady in the middle. This thing drives real nice too. I love these Camrys. You never can go wrong with the Camry, especially the 4-cylinder ones. The 6-cylinder ones, they like to leak oil, and I'm not a big fan of that, especially the previous generation. I can't abide that. But these were really good cars. Even at 235, almost 236,000 miles, this thing just hums along. There's going to be a little bit of traffic out today because it is a Thursday afternoon, so everyone's just getting off work. Now, unfortunately, I know you guys are going to freak out about this, but this vehicle is already sold. I know what you're thinking. What? You didn't even wash it. You didn't even clean it. You didn't vacuum it. You didn't do anything. You know, that's the life of a Toyota Camry. Every time I get a Toyota on my lot, especially a Camry, like that, it's gone. They sell themselves. It's not like a Chevrolet where you gotta fight with the buyer and the car. These are the kind of car that as soon as they come up, they are gone. So you better keep your eyes peeled like a freaking banana. Now this one's going to my neighbor. My neighbor's actually been asking me for about a year now to find him a nice Camry, and I think this one fits the bill because he's within a certain budget, and I think we can get him right in his budget range. Put a little bit of speed into her. Don't want to go too fast. This is a residential street, so we're going to keep it at around 35. But she really is driving fantastic. We're going to take it up on the main street in a second and basically just slam the gas pedal and see if it takes off, see if it sprouts any leaks, anything like that. It's always important when you do a cooling system repair to thoroughly vet the car afterwards. You don't want to get home and then the next morning find a giant puddle of coolant underneath it. That is something that absolutely nobody wants. There goes a Brinks truck or whatever the hell that is. I don't know what that is. Looks like a Freightliner. Alright, let's go. Wow, smooth. For a 4-cylinder, man, this thing is smooth. And that temperature is just right in the middle. And Now we are stuck behind the Freightliner. It could be Randy from Auto Auction Rebuilds for all I know. Nah, it's not him. We're nowhere near Oklahoma, thank goodness. I don't want to get picked up by a hurricane like a frickin' cow in a trailer park and tossed 8,000 feet. Alright. Gotta choose the lane there, buddy. Well, the Camry's gone, just like I was saying, sold to my neighbor's son. He really enjoyed the car and I couldn't say no. That only leaves room for more projects. Now, you'll probably be seeing this one in an upcoming video. I have another Corolla, because why not? We're starting to get kind of crowded over here, so I gotta take these down to the lot. I can't have these just blocking up my frickin' driveway because I have some more vehicles coming and I need the room. Sorry this video wasn't longer and didn't contain the usual details of me washing and cleaning and, you know, fixing and all that, but that's, like I said, that's how the Toyotas go sometimes. They come and they go real quick, so you gotta be like lightning. But I appreciate all the viewership, I appreciate everyone who watches, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye.